Evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jason Roberts and I'm from the University of Queensland, the Royal Brisbane Women's Hospital. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to another exciting webinar on the topic of antimicrobial optimisation from the Centre of Research Excellence, REDUCE, which is a University of Queensland run centre, but one which of course collaborates far more widely. One of the key areas of work which is really important to what we do at CRE REDUCE is looking for ways to better treat very challenging infections and various related syndromes. And certainly those for mycobacterial infections is a particularly challenging issue which pervades many corners of the world. And so it's great that we have some local expertise in Australia in this particular area. And I think that we've done a great job in bringing a lot of those people together. So I'd like to pay make a special vote of thanks to Andrew Burke, who's a respiratory physician from the Prince Charles Hospital, who's also has infectious diseases qualifications and activity, who has put together this webinar, which I think looks fantastic and has some real world leaders in the areas who will be talking to you. So I'm not going to be chairing tonight's event though. That's going to be chaired by Dr. Holly Sinclair, as well as Dr. Alice Sawka. Before I introduce them, I might just give the acknowledgement of country, acknowledge the traditional custodians on the various lands in which we meet, and pay our respects to their ancestors and their descendants who continue cultural and spiritual connections to country. We recognise their valuable contributions to Australian and global society. In Brisbane, the local peoples are the Turrbal and the Yagara people, and we'd like to acknowledge them before we start this meeting. So I'd like to introduce Holly first. Holly is a Senior Registrar in Infectious Disease and Microbiology at the Prince Charles Hospital. As an advanced trainee, she is about as knowledgeable in many of the issues which you're going to come across because she has to study those as part of her training. And I've been fortunate enough to work with Holly at the RBWH, where she has provided much support for our intensive care unit care for patients that is provided there. Dr. Alice Sawka is someone who is a mycobacterial fellow at the Princess Alexandra Hospital, which is a very cool position that has been able to be established. Alice is a final year respiratory advanced trainee and works between the Princess Alexandra Hospital as well as the Prince Charles Hospital here in Brisbane, and has extensive experience with managing inpatients and outpatients with tuberculosis and other pulmonary mycobacterial infections. So I'm going to hand over to Holly and Alice now and let them introduce our speakers through the rest of the evening. And so happy Antimicrobial Awareness Week to everyone, and enjoy the rest.